Hi there, you want a perfect on the ACT math section? You cramming for the test at the last minute? Test caught you off guard and you in the bind to study for this test? Then continue to watch this video and remember to like, subscribe, and vent your frustrations below, and we will have a nice therapy session for everyone. See? It's a win-win. Remember, subscribing means you get to see all my other testing strategies for this damn test. In this video, we will cover Section 2 Math Calculator from ACT Practice Test 2020 to 2021, and we use the quick and dirty method to cut through all the red tape and show you the heart of each problem and how you could jam your pencil right through it. Want to see the step-by-step standard red tape blood-sucking mind-numbing detail approach? Then check out the links below. Just a quick reminder, and these steps will be covered more in detail in my other details videos. Quick tip 1, time management. Generally, questions at the beginning of this section tend to be easier and thus will demand less of your time to perform. So race through them and spend the remaining time on the harder, more intensive questions generally located at the end of this section. See the chart on the slide. Quick tip number 2, if you absolutely do not know how to do a problem, guess. Turn the hardest problem into the easiest guess and save that time. Mark down the answer in your answer sheet and move on. Use the save time to answer questions that can benefit from that saved time. Only come back to the problem if you have time to do so. Quick tip number 3, passages. Yes, word problems. There are lots of them. My advice is to skip to the end of the passage, read the question so you have an idea on what to watch out for, and throw out the information that is useless to answering question. You need a filter to weed out the noise the passage throws at you to get you to waste your time. Finally, quick tip number 4, the quick and dirty method. Almost every math question, and it shouldn't come as a surprise, has more than one way to approach them. It's up to you to find the shortest, or known as to engineers, the quick and dirty way to the answers, where we ballpark answers to find the correct one. This is the back of the envelope method that engineers are known for. This is the critical thinking that the test is really trying to get you to do. Can you solve the question without using the traditional way where you're taught in high school? When will you have your eureka moment for each problem? The hey yo, this was mad easy moment. It's there. What can I say? I'm an engineer. Paying relentless attention to detail is kind of like what I do for a living. So with that said, let's do this and crush this damn test. Okay, question 1, let's go to the end. What is the total number of servings the modified recipe will make? Okay, let's keep that in mind. Marcus's favorite casserole recipe requires 3 eggs and makes 6 servings. Marcus will modify the recipe by using 5 eggs and increasing all other ingredients in the recipe proportionately. What is the total number of servings the modified recipe will make? So in reality, this should take about 10 seconds. And the reason is this. So we said the ratio real quick. So you need 3 eggs and it makes 6 servings. So I want to make now 5 eggs and x servings. This is really 1 over 2 cross multiply. So then I get 10 is equal to x. Answer is C. Boom. Number 2, the question is at the end, who is a member of the club but not an officer will be chosen. Okay, let's keep that in mind. The 35-member history club is meeting to choose a student government representative. The members decide that the representative who will be chosen at random cannot be any of the 3 officers of the club. What is the probability that Horatio, who is a member of the club but not an officer, will be chosen? So it tells you right here that 3 officers of the club cannot be, and you start with 35. So in reality, this is a 10-second problem. So it's 35 minus 3 is equal to 32, and it's 1 over 32 because you're choosing 1. Answer is K. And boom. 3. For what value of x is the equation that is true? So this is using the rule of logs. So what you need to do now is to eliminate the bases because they're the same. If not, you have to make them the same and then you can eliminate them. So this simplifies as 2x plus 7 is equal to 15. So in reality, this is a 10-second problem. Subtract 7 from both sides. You get 2x is equal to 8. Divide by 2, x is equal to 4. B. And boom. 4. Let the function f be defined as that. What is the value of f of 3? So what you need to do, this is a simple substitute question. This should take about 20 seconds because you do have a little bit of substitution to do. So you plug in 3 into here, you plug in 3 into there. So this becomes 12 plus 3, which is 15. And you multiply this by 7. So 7 times 15 is, 7 by 15 is 105 minus, so 3 squared is 9 times 5 is 45. So 45 minus 105 is minus 60. Answer is J. That was easy. Number 5. What is the probability that the bill drawn will be a $20 bill? Okay, let's keep that in mind. A wallet containing 5 $5 bills, 7 $10 bills, and 8 $20 bills is found and returned to its owner. The wallet's owners will reward the finder with 1 bill drawn randomly from the wallet. What is the probability that the bill drawn will be a $20 bill? So the first thing you gotta do is, so this is really a 10-second problem. So what you need to do is you add all the bills together, bill count, so 5, 7, and 8. So this is 15 plus 5, you got 20. And since there's 8 $20 bills, this is 8 over 20. You simplify this to 4 over 10 and divide this more, that's 2 over 5. The answer is D. Nice. 6. Let's go to the end. For each club, how many books must be read in 1 month for the total charges from each club to be equal? For each club, how many books must be read in 1 month for the total charges from each club to be equal? Okay, let's keep that in mind. The ABC Book Club charges a $40 monthly fee plus $2 book read in that month. The Easy Book Club charges $35 monthly fee plus $3 per book read in that month. For each club, how many books must be read in 1 month for the total charges from each book club to be equal? So what you need to do with this one is you need to set up an equation. So that means you need your fixed amount. Let's start with ABC first. In reality, this is a 20-second problem. So what you do is you set up ABC on one side, which is the book club. The initial cost is $40 plus $2 times every book read that month. Then for Easy, it's a initial cost of $35 plus $3 per book. And once you set up the equation, you just solve for x. So minus 2x, minus 35 on both sides. You just keep this mentally done. So you subtract 2x, you have x on this side. This is equal to 5. The answer is H. That was one-handed. Number 7. So this is a geometry problem. Looks like you need to find a missing angle from the diagram. In parallelogram ABCD below, AC is a diagonal. The measure of angle ABC is 40 degrees and the measure of angle ACD is 57. What is the measure of angle CAD? So we're looking for the CAD file here. So what you do is, this is what we're looking for. So using rules of parallel lines, this 40 here is exactly the exact same 40 as over here. So you can write this over here. All triangles are 180 degrees. You subtract 40 from this. So it gives you 140 and minus 57. So 140 minus 57 is 83. The answer is D. Cool. Number 8. When x is equals to 1/2, what is the value of 8x minus 3 divided by x? So you plug in 1/2 over here, you plug in 1/2 over here. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. Half of 8 is 4 minus 3 over 1 over 2, which really is equal to 1 over 1 over 2. And since this is 1/2 is in the denominator, you flip it and put it into the numerator, which then equals to 2. Answer is G. Awesome. Number 9. In the standard XY coordinate plane, what is the midpoint of the line segment that has endpoints 3, 8 and 1, 4? What you're really looking for is the midsection of this line, and what you do is you average the x's and you average the y's. But the one good thing here, if you look at all the answers, because the x values are all different, as long as you find the x value, you don't need to find the y value. So let's take the average. So 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, divided by 2, the answer is 2. Any answer with x equal to 2, answer is D. That's why this is a 10-second problem. That was one-handed. Number 10. Okay, it's a small passage. If you go to the end, it says which value is it? Well, it doesn't really help that much, so we have to read the whole passage now. The fluctuation of water depth at a pier is shown in the figure below. 1. The following value gives the positive difference in feet between the greatest water depth and the least water depth shown in the graph below. Which value is it? Alright, so this looks like it's a 10-second problem. So this really is 12, which is high, minus 6, which is low. The answer is 6. Answer is G. Command and conquer. Number 11. What is the slope of a line through -2, 1 and 2, -5 in a standard XY coordinate plane? This is a slope problem, so in reality this should take about 20 seconds. So we know that slope in the y equals to mx plus b over here is equal to the change in y over the change of x. So if whatever you pick as 0.1 and 0.2, you just said to be consistent. So if you pick this as 0.2 and this is 0.1, you just make sure that it's always 2 minus 1. So in this case, we just go, we got a change in 5. So minus 5 minus 1 over 2 minus 2. So this becomes plus. In reality, this is a minus 6. So 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This then is equal to minus 3 over 2. Answer is D. Like a boss. Number 12. Let's go to the end. Kirk was fined for traveling at what speed in miles per hour? Okay, let's keep that in mind. In Cherokee County, the fine for speeding is $17 for each mile per hour the driver is traveling over the posted speed limit. In Cherokee County, Kirk was fined $221 for speeding on a road with a posted speed limit of 30 miles per hour. Kirk was fined for traveling at what speed in miles per hour? In reality, this is a 10-second problem. So what you do is you take the total amount that he's fined, $221, divide that by the fine, which is $17 per mile. 221 divided by 17, once you plug into the calculator, is 13. And then since it's 30 miles per hour, what's the speed limit? You add 30 to it, so this becomes 43. Answer is H. Like a boss. Question number 13. What is the sum of the solutions of the two equations below? So we're going to find a solution for each of these equations and then add them together because that's what they tell us to do. Let's take the first one, which is 8x equals equal to 12. Divide both sides by 8. X is equal to 12 over 8, which is really equals to 1 and 1/2. So we take the second equation because this is also divisible by 2. We do that, and this really becomes y plus 5 is equal to 11. Subtract 5 from both sides, so y is equal to 6. So you take 6 and add it to 1 and 1/2, and the answer is B, 7.5. So in reality, this is a 10-second problem. Just like that. Number 14, let's go to the end. What is the sum of the 4 scores that are not the median? Okay, the average of 5 distinct scores has the same value as the median of the 5 scores. The sum of the 5 scores is 420. What is the sum of the 4 scores that are not in the median? So what you need to do is you take 420 and you divide that by 5, and that will give you 84. So we take 84 and you multiply that by 4 because we're trying to eliminate the median, and the answer is 336. Answer is H. So in reality, this is a 10-second problem. Number 15. What is the value of the expression below? So what we have is two absolutes within a single absolute. So let's do this. Minus 8 plus 4 is minus 4. Absolute value of that becomes 4. Minus 3 minus 9 is minus 6. Take the absolute value of that, and that becomes 6. 4 minus 6, and take the absolute value of that, and that becomes minus 2. Absolute value becomes 2. Answer is D. Awesome. 16. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to x to the 2/3 power? So you have to rely on your knowledge of exponents. So what you need to do is you take x to the 2/3, which is really equals to x squared. And because the 3 is in the denominator and the power is the root to the power of that number, so this becomes root 3. The answer of this is K. In reality, this was a 10-second problem. There you go. Number 17. In the standard xy coordinate plane, what is the slope of the line given by the equation 4x equals to 7y plus 5? So if you know the equation of the line is y equals to mx plus b, we have to make this look like your standard form so we can find out m, which is your slope. So we move 4x to the other side and move 7y to, so basically you switch places. So you have minus 7y is equal to minus 4x plus 5. Then you take both sides and divide by 7, minus 7, divide by minus 7. Y is equal to, well, this is a minus and that's a minus, becomes plus, so 4 over 7x plus, or actually it becomes minus 5 over 7. But this is not important. What's really important is this value here because this is your slope. So we look for the right answer. The answer is B. In reality, this is a 15-second problem. To Mars. 18. For which of the following conditions will the sum of the integers m and n always be an odd number? So this goes back to the rules of addition. If you add two odds together, you get an even. If you add two evens together, you get an even. The only way to get an odd is to add an even plus an odd gives you an odd. The only answer that gives you this is K, because it tells you m is an odd integer and n is an even integer. So in reality, this is a 10-second problem. Excellent. Number 19. The lengths of the two legs of the right triangle ABC shown below are given in inches. The midpoint of AB is how many inches from A? The midpoint of AB, here to here. Well, in order to do that, I gotta find the whole length of AB first. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. The reason for that is once you recognize this is a special triangle, this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So what do I need to multiply to get here, right? In reality, this is everything multiplied by 8. So 5 times 8 is equal to 40, which is the full length of AB. But I only want half, so I gotta divide this by 2. So 40 over 2 is 20. Answer is B. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. Excellent. Number 20. In triangle DEF, the length of DE is the square root of 30 inches, and the length of EF is 3 inches. If it can be determined, what is the length in inches of DF? Okay, let's draw this out. So we're given triangle DEF, so this is DEF. DE is the square root of 30, and the length of EF is 3. If it can be determined, what is the length of inches of DF? We're not given any of the angles that we need to do this problem, and that's an issue because we need one more other component in order to do this problem, either a length or one the angle, but in this case we don't have any of it. So the only answer here is K. It cannot be determined from the information given. To the moon. Number 21. Okay, let's jump to the end. And what do I got? What is the area in square feet of the wall surface Lori plans to paint? Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Lori plans to paint the 8-foot-high rectangular walls of her room, and before she buys the paint, she needs to know the area of the wall surface to be painted. 2 walls are 10 feet wide, so let's make a diagram. 2 walls are 10 feet wide, and the other 2 walls are 15 foot wide. The combined area of the one window and the one door room is 60 square feet. So window plus door is equal to 60 square feet. What is the area in square feet of the wall surface Leroy plans to paint? We know the room itself is 8 foot tall. So what we need to do is we just add up all the numbers in the base first. So this is 20 plus 30, this is 50. 50 is the perimeter times 8, which is 400, minus 60 because this is the actual windows and doors. So we're going to end up with 340. 340, answer is B. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. You got this! 22. The length of a rectangle is 5 inches longer than the width. So 5 plus W. The perimeter of the triangle is 40 inches. So that means I need to multiply this by 2, and I have to have 2 more W, and this is equal to 40. So that is the equation. Once I sum this up, so I have 4W plus 10 is equal to 40. Subtract 10 from both sides, so I have 4W is equal to 30, and I divide both sides by 4. W is equal to 30 over 4. And plug this in the calculator, and this comes out to be 7.5. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. There you go. 23. 8% of 60 is 1/5 of what number? Okay, let's do the first part first. So 60 times 0.08, and this is equal to 4.8. And I need to multiply this by 5 because it's 1/5. So I gotta make this a little larger. So multiply 5 and I get 24. Answer is C. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. Like a boss, man. Number 24. Okay, let's go to the end. What is the minimum number of home basketball games Armin must attend this season in order for the cost of the season pass to be less than the total cost of buying individual tickets for each game he attends? Okay, let's keep that in mind as we go through the problem. Armin is trying to decide whether to buy a season pass to his college basketball team's 20 home games this season. The cost of an individual ticket is $14, and the cost of a season pass is $175. Season pass will admit Armin to any home basketball game at no additional cost. Okay, now it makes sense. What is the minimum number of home basketball games Armin must attend this season in order for the cost of the season pass to be less than the total cost of buying an individual ticket for each game attends? In reality, this is a 10-second problem. So what you do is you take the total cost of the season pass, which is $175, and divide that by the individual dollar amount per game. So 175 divided by 14 is 12.5. So you always round up, so this becomes 13 games. The answer is J. Just like that. Okay, number 25. This seems complicated, but in reality it's not. So we know that this power is in the denominator, so when we flip it to the numerator, it becomes positive. So this becomes 10 to the 11. And then once you have that, since they have the same bases, you can now add the powers together. So 11 minus 7, so this is 10 to the 4. So with that said, we look at the coefficients now here. Multiples of 1.6 are there in 4.8. The answer is 3. So it's 3 times 10 to the 4. The only answer that has that is A. In reality, this was a 10-second problem. That's what I'm talking about. Number 26. Okay, so we look at the answers here. So it looks like all the x's are different, but there's some repeats in the y. So we want to repeat doing y's. We want to solve for x if we can first. A circle in the standard xy coordinate plane has a center C at -1, 2 and passes through A 2, 6. On line segment AB is a diameter of the circle. What are the coordinates of points B? So we have our center here and our A points here. So we're looking for the B point, which is diameter, which is our B point will be here. So I'm just drawing this as an example. So what we need to do is to know the difference in the x. So to go from 2 to -1 is -3, right? So 2 minus a -1 gives me 3. So that's the difference. So what I need to do is I take -1 and subtract out 3 and I get a -4. The only answer with a -4 is H. This in reality is a 10-second problem. And boom. Number 27. Which of the following expression is a factor of x cubed minus 64? So if you remember, a factor means root. So as a result, you could do this the long way, which is you take long division, but what I like to do is to make this into a synthetic division. So if you don't know synthetic division, I suggest you take a quick look at a review that we'll post up at a later time. So what you do is you set all these equal to 0, and we're not going to worry about these two right now. Let's just do a test. So in this case, we have to solve for x. So x is equal to 4. In this case, x is equal to -4, and in this case, x is equal to -64. So let's start with the top one first. So what you need to do is, instead of synthetic division, you have to write down all the coefficients starting from the highest power to the lowest power. So in this case, my x cubed has a coefficient 1, x squared has a coefficient 0, x has a coefficient of 0, and the last number is my constant, which is -64. So you just draw your synthetic box here. We're going to take the first one, which is 4. So what we're going to do is you're going to bring down the first number, which is 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. And what you do is now you add them together. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And then 0 plus 16 is 16. So 4 times 16 is 64. So you add these together and I get 0. So as long as I end in 0, this value is a root, which means x minus 4 is a root. Answer is A. In reality, this really takes about 30 seconds to do. If A was not, and the answer, you had to test each one, your time will grow. So number 27, if they put A as the last answer, it might have taken you a little bit longer to do. Boom. Number 28. So read the end. What is the average of this new list of numbers? Okay, we're doing averages now. The averages of a list of 4 numbers is 90. A new list of 4 numbers has the same first 3 numbers as the original list, but the 4th number of the original list is 80, and the 4th number in the new list is 96. What is the average of this new list of numbers? What you need to do first is you need to find the differences in the 2 4th numbers. So you take 96 and you subtract out 80, and that becomes 16. And because it's the 4th number, you need to divide this by 4. So the answer here is 4. And since the average is 90, you take 90 and you add 4 to this and it becomes 94. Answer is H. In reality, this is a 10-second problem. Cool. Number 29. So this is a number line problem. The number A is located at minus 2.5 on the number line below it. So this is A and it's at minus 2.5. One of the following number lines shows the location of A squared. Which number line is it? If I square 2.5, it becomes positive. So I've got to square minus 2.5. So 2.5 squares in punching the calculator is 6.25. And which of these gives me a positive 6.25? E. Answer is E. In reality, this was a 10-second problem. Let's move on. Number 30. Seems like the question is pretty long at the end. Maria ordered a pizza. She ate only 2/9 of it and gave the remaining pizza to her 3 brothers. What fraction of the whole pizza will each of Maria's brothers receive if they share the remaining pizza equally? So that means the remaining is 7/9. 7/9 is the remaining portion of the pizza. And since there are 3 brothers, you gotta take this and multiply by 1/3. So once you multiply across, you get 7/27. The answer is J. In reality, this was a 10-second problem. Nice. 31. So this is pretty short, so let's just read the problem. The number 1001 is a product of prime numbers 7, 11, and 13. Knowing this, what is the prime factorization of 30,030? So what I need to do now is I take the larger number, which is 30,030, and divide that by the top prime number, which is 1001. So I can see that this here will produce a 3, and then I have a 0, so I add a 0 at the end. So this can be broken down further. Because 30 is not a prime number, I could do 6 and 5. So because 6 is not a prime number, I could break this down even further. It becomes 2 and 3. So I have 2, 3, and 5 as one set of the prime numbers, and I have the original 7, 11, and 13 because I divided that by this number. So which answer has all 6 of these prime numbers? Answer is E. So in reality, this was a 10-second problem. With one hand tied behind my back. Question number 32. Use the following information to answer questions 32 to 34. Okay, we have a diagram. The question is, what is the area in square inches of the scale drawing of the park? So I'm looking for things in square inches. Micah, an intern with the Parks and Recreation Department, is developing a proposal for the new trapezoidal Springdale Park. The figure below shows her a scale drawing of the proposed park with the 3 sides length and the radius of the merry-go-round given in inches. In Micah's scale drawing, 1 inch represents 1.5 feet. So this is the conversion factor when we need it. So I'm given this edge is 28 inches, this is 16 inches, this is 40. The question asks for the area in square inches. Okay, so I'm going to break this up into a triangle and a rectangle. So 40 minus 28 gives me 12, which means this is 12 here and this is 28 here. The rectangle is 16 times 28, and this gives me 448. The triangle is 12 times 16 times 1/2, and this gives me to 96. If I add them together, I get 544. Answer is G, because I don't have to do any conversions because everything's in inches already. Awesome. Using the same diagram, number 33, Micah's proposal includes installing a fence on the perimeter of the park. What is the perimeter in feet of the park? So I have to add all the sides together, so I still have my triangle here. So once I draw in the triangle over here, something very interesting happens. I know that this side is 16 and this side is 12, so this is another special triangle. This is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So this is the shortcut I could use. This is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. I multiply everything by 4. So 5 times 4, that means this side is 20. Once I sum everything up, it's 28 plus 16 plus 40 plus 20. Once I add all this up, this becomes 104. And because the conversion is inches, and I'm gotta get this into feet. Inches on top, which means I gotta put inches at the bottom, so 1 inch here. And I have a conversion of 1.5 feet. So 104 times 1.5 gives me to 156 feet. Answer is E. That was one-handed. Number 34, the length of the south side of the park is what percentage of the length of the north side of the park? So that's easy. So that means you take the south side, which is 40 inches, and you divide that by the north side, which is 28 inches. So 40 over 28 is 1.42, and the only answer that comes close is H, because you do have to multiply this by 100, and that gives you to 142%. And boom. Okay. Number 35. Mr. Smith plans to build a 3-foot wide walkway around the outside of the cabin as shown on the floor plan. What will be the area in square feet of the top surface of the walkway? Okay, let's go to the passage. The Smith family is planning to build a 3-room cabin which consists of 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. Shown below are the rectangular floor plan left figure and the side view of the cabin right figure. In the side view, the roof forms an isosceles triangle ABC. The walls are perpendicular to the level floor, ED. AC is parallel to ED. F is the midpoint of AC, and BF is perpendicular to AC. Okay. During the week, the Smiths plan to roof the cabin. There is a 20% chance of rain each day. So number 35, we're trying to figure out the area of this shaded area here. So let's take the outside minus the inside. So it's 36 times 30 minus 24 times 30. So if you notice, there's a 30 here and a 30 here, so we could combine them. So 36 minus 24 is 12 times 30, because you could treat this like if it's x, right? So you still have x here. So 12 times 30 is 360. The answer is C. You can see that this is really a 10-second problem. That was one-handed. Number 36. Mrs. Smith will install a ceiling fan in each room of the cabin and will place curtains over the 4 windows. Each of the ceiling fans has a price tag of $52. The price of curtains for each small window is $39.50, and the price of curtains for a large window is twice that for a small window. Based on this information, which of the following value is close to the total price Mrs. Smith will pay for curtains and ceiling fans? Well, if you look at here, they tend to be somewhat apart, except for here. It seems to be a little bit closer. So let's see what we could do. So right now I have 3 rooms, so that's 52 times 3, and I have 3 small windows and a large window. So since the large is twice that of the small, I could say there's 5 windows total times 39.50. So to make our math a little bit easier, I'm going to assume that this is very close to 50. So this really is 150, and this here is very close to 40. So 5 times 40 is 200. So 50 plus 200 is 350. Which is closest? This answer right here, J. So you can see that this is really a 20-second problem. Command and conquer. Number 37. Mr. and Mrs. Smith plan to roof the cabin on 2 consecutive days. Assuming that the chance of rain is independent of the day, what is the probability that it will rain on both days? Well, if it rains 20%, it's really equal to 0.2. And this is the first day. The second day is also 20%, which is equal to 0.2. You multiply them, it gives you 0.04. The answer is closest to this is A. So in reality, this is a 10-second problem. Like a boss. Number 38. Which of the following expressions when you evaluate equals an irrational number? This is really 2 over 8. Square root of that, which is 1 over 4. Square root of this equals to 1 over 2. So that's out. So using the same format here, this becomes 4 over 1. Square root of that is equal to 2. So that's out. This is really equals to 8. So that's out. Square root of 2 times the square root of 8, which is really the square root of 16 equals to 4. So that's out. So this is the only one. So I did that to show you that all these are all wrong. But in reality, this is a 10-second problem. Just like that. Number 39. A line through the origin and 10, 4 is shown in the standard xy coordinate plane below. The acute angle between the line and the positive x-axis has a measure of theta. What is the value of tan theta? Well, tangent is just opposite over adjacent. So this is opposite adjacent. This is 10, that's 4. So tangent is equal to 4 over 10 or 2 over 5. The answer is D. So in reality, this is 10 seconds. That's what I'm talking about. Number 40. The equation absolute value 2x minus 8 plus 3 equals to 5 has 2 solutions. Those solutions are equal to the solution to which of the following pair of equation? If you notice that the answers have to be the same, so it makes this one out, right? So I have 2, 8, and 2, 8, so this is out. So I'm left with these here. So what do I have? So move 3 to the other side. So the absolute value of 2x minus 8 is equal to 2. And the only way that I could get this equal to 2 is here. This is the only answer that does it. Because the first one gives me a 2, the second one gives you, but I have to take the negative of the whole thing, because if I take negative of either one, it doesn't work. So it's got to negative the whole thing, because then I take the absolute value of the whole thing equals to 2. So this is the only one that makes sense. In reality, this is a 15-second problem. Excellent. 41. The frequency chart below shows the cumulative number of Mrs. Hernandez science students whose test scores fell within a certain score range. All test scores are whole numbers. So these are the these are the score ranges, and these are the cumulative students in each one. So this cumulative number of students. How many students have had a test score in the interval of 71 through 80? So 71 through 80. So it is not this one, it is this one. So you need to subtract out 13 minus 12, and that gives you 1. Answer is A. So in reality, this really took 20 seconds to do. To the moon. 42. The number of decibels D produced by an audio source can be modeled by the equation D equals 10 log I over K, where I is the sound intensity of the audio source and K is a constant. How many decibels are produced by an audio source whose sound intensity is 1000 times the value of K? In reality, this is 1000, and 1000 can be expressed as 10 to the third. So when you do a log here, a log of 10 to the third is 3, and then you have to multiply that by 10 times 10, and that gives you 30. Answer is G. In reality, this is a 20-second problem. There you go. Mario plays basketball on a town league team. The table below gives Mario's scoring statistic for the last season. How many points did Mario score playing basketball last season? So let's do the 1 point. So 80% and a successful 75%. So this is really 90% of this, which is 54, and 25% of 60 is 15. So what we need to do is, because this is a 2-point goal and this is a 3-point goal, we need to multiply this by 2 and multiply this by 3. And since this is a single, you multiply by 1. So this is 60. 54 times 2 is 108, and 15 times 3 is 45. And when you sum these all up, you get 213. Answer is C. And so in reality, this is a 30-second problem. To Mars. Number 44. The graph of y is equal to absolute value of x minus 6 is in the standard xy coordinate plane. Which of the following transformation, when applied to the graph of y is equal to absolute value of x, results in the graph of y is equal to absolute value of x minus 6? So what we need to do is we just kind of sketch this out a little bit like this. That's just standard xy coordinate plane. And y equals to absolute value of x looks like this. And then since we have to subtract 6 out here, so when I have a value of 6, 6 minus 6, that gets me to 0. So I move the graph to the right. If this is my value of 6 here, what ended up happening is now I have this. So the graph moved this way. So F, translation to the right 6 coordinate units. That's exactly right. The answer is F. So in reality, this is a 20-second problem. Number 45, to the end. Which of the following is closest to the volume in cubic centimeters of the toy soldier? Okay, let's keep that in mind. Toby wants to find the volume of a solid toy soldier. He fills a rectangular container 8 centimeters long, 6 centimeters wide, and 10 centimeters high with water to a depth of 4 centimeters. Toby totally submerges the toy soldier in the water. The height of the water with the submerged toy soldier is 6.6 centimeters. Which of the following is closest to the volume in cubic centimeters of the toy soldier? Let's do this as fast as possible. So you kind of sketch this out. So you tell him this is 8 centimeters long, 6 centimeters wide, and it's 10 centimeters tall, but he fills it up to 4, and then when you're done, it's like 6.6. So the change in height is 2.2 times 8 times 6. Answer for this is 124.8, and the closest answer to this is A, which is 125. In reality, this is a 30-second problem because there is some reading to do. There you go. Number 46. Okay, skip to the end. Which of the following numerical expressions gives the number of cubic inches of the box filled with packing material? Okay, so it seems like we have cubic. Let's keep that in mind as we read through the question. A box in the shape of a cube has an interior side length of 18 inches and is used to ship a right circular cylinder with a radius of 6 inches and a height of 12 inches. The interior of the box not occupied, the cylinder is filled with packing material. Which of the following numerical expression gives the number of cubic inches of the box filled with packing material? So what you need to do is do a little sketch. So let's sketch a cube out. So that's my cube. Everything here is 18. So all sides of the cube are 18. And then we have a cylinder that's inside that has this. It has a radius of 6 and it's 12 inches tall. There we go. So this is 12 inches. So let's start with the volume of the cube, which is 18 cubed, minus the volume of the cylinder, minus the cylinder, which is pi r squared times h. So r in this case is 6 squared and h is 12. So this is pi, so 18 cubed minus pi 6 squared times 12. The only answer that has this is J. So in reality, this is about a 30-second problem. The reason is there's a little bit of reading involved, so you don't make silly mistakes. You got it. Number 47. A room has a rectangular floor that is 15 feet by 21 feet. What is the area of the floor in square yards? So we have to make sure we do the correct conversion. So this is feet and this is feet. So let's do this. So it's 15 feet. This is 21 feet. And they want everything in square yards. So the best thing to do this is just convert everything into yard first. So 15 divided by 3, that gives me 5 yards. 21 divided by 3 is equal to 7 yards. 5 times 7 yards is 35 square yards. Answer is B. So in reality, this actually took about 15 seconds. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, number 48, skip to the end. When the fare of the two cab companies are compared, what is the cheaper fare for a 5-mile trip? Okay, so there's cab 1, cab 2, and here's 5 miles. Miles is over here. Okay, it's the beginning. ABC cabs and Terry cabs both have an initial fare of a whole number of dollars for one passenger. The fare increases a whole number of dollars at each whole number of miles traveled. The graph below shows that one passenger fares in dollars for both cab companies for trips up to 6 miles. When the fares of the two cab companies are compared, what is the cheaper fare for a 5-mile trip? Okay, so what you need to do is you take your 5-mile trip and go straight up, go through the open circle and go to the make a left turn at the closed circle. Same thing on this side, go through the open circle, make a right turn on the closed circle. So this is $9 and this is $12. So the cheaper fare is 9. So in reality, this is a 30-second problem. Excellent. Number 49. Okay, let's go to the end. What is the area in square coordinate units of the region bounded by the graph of y equals to f of x, the positive y-axis and the positive axis? What is the area in square coordinate units of the region bounded by the graph y equals to f of x, the positive y-axis and the positive y and the positive x-axis? Okay, the graph of a function y equals f. The graph of a function y equals to f of x consists of 3 line segments. The graph and coordinates of the endpoints of the 3 line segments are shown in the standard xy coordinate plane below. Okay, do this. So the best way to do this is to just draw 2 triangles out like this. So because this is 3, 3, this is a cube, so this is 9. So 3 to 5 is 2, so we know that this is 2. This is 3 high, so this is 1/2 2 times 3, which is equal to 3. So this area is 3. This one is also 2, and this is 1 high, so that means it's 1/2 times 2 times 1, which is equal to 1. So 1 plus 3 plus 9 is 12 and 1 is 13. Answer is B. So in reality, this is a 30-second problem. No problem. Number 50. The sum of two positive numbers is 151. The lesser number is 19 more than the square root of the greater number. What is the value of the greater number minus the lesser number? Okay, this one's a little bit more involved. I'll assume anywhere between 1 to 3 minutes to do this problem. So what we need to do here is actually write this out. So 19 more than the square root of the greater number. Okay, so everything's related to x. The lesser number is 19 more than the square root of the greater number. So that means the number has to be squared when you compare it, and then you add 19 to it. So you have to add these two guys together because it says the sum. So once you add these two guys together, you get x squared plus x plus 19 is equal to 151. So then you have to do the comparison. Once you get to this set, you make it into standard quadratic equation. So you subtract 151 from both sides. So x squared plus x minus 132 is equal to 0. So in order to do this, you have to do a quick fact. So it adds up to 1, multiply gives me to 132. The numbers that we know of to give me a positive x is x plus 12 is equal to 0 and x minus 11 is equal to 0. When you multiply these two together, you get 132. So when you do this, x is equal to minus 12, x is equal to plus 11. So you got to take the positive number because this is the positive numbers. So once I have x here at 11, now what I do is square of 11 is equal to 121, and then the other one is 11 plus 19 is equal to 30. And it says, what is the value of the greater number minus the lesser number? So 121 minus 30, and I get 91. Answer is J. So in reality, this really does take a little bit long time because you do have to figure out a 2-step problem. So this is a little bit more involved, which is expected because you're getting close to the end of the exam or end of this section. Number 51. The list of numbers 41, 35, 30, x, y, 15 has a median of 25. So the middle number is 25. The mode of the list number is 15. To the nearest whole number, what is the mean of the list? So you have to know the difference between median, which is the middle number, mode, which is the most common number, and mean, which is the average. So we know that this number has to be 15 because at least one of the numbers must be repeat because there's no other repeats here. So one of these numbers must be 15. And we know that the median median is 25. And if you have 30 here, in order to get 25 here, you need to have a 20 here because the average of 30 and 20 gives you 25, and that's your median of 25. So we know the two values here. Now we need to find is the mean of the list. So it's 41, 35, 30, 20, 15, and 15. So this is 30. 30 plus 20 is 50. So this is 50. 50 plus 65, that gives me to 115 plus 41. This is 651. And you take this and divide it by 1, 2, 3. There's 6 numbers here. So 156 divided by 6 is actually 26. So in reality, this is probably a 1 minute problem because you do have a little bit more involved. Answer is C. There you go. Number 52. You are given the following system equation: y equals to x squared, rx plus sy is equal to t, where r, s, t are integers. With which of the following will there be more than one xy solution with real number coordinates for the system? So the important number here is real number. So as you know, this is getting towards the end of the section, so this anyway could take 1 to 2 minutes each as we need to figure this out. So you have a y here and you have a y here. So let's plug in x squared into here. So I have rx plus sx squared is equal to t. So let's reorder this into our standard quadratic equation. So I have sx squared plus rx minus t is equal to 0. Because I don't have any values here and we're just told them that they're integers, we need to figure out what we need to do here. So the magic formula that we need here is actually the quadratic formula. But there's a special part of the quadratic formula that I need to know, which is the determinant. So the determinant has to be true or positive in order for this to work. So determinant is b squared plus 4ac is greater than 0. This is the most important one. Gotta make sure this works. So b is r. So it's r squared plus 4 times a is s, and c is minus t, which is greater than 0. So I rewrite this, so it will be r squared minus 4s t is greater than 0. Answer to this is F. You got this! The third and fourth terms of arithmetic sequence are 13 and 18 respectively. What is the 50th term of the sequence? So that means if my third and my fourth is 13 and 18, let's go backwards, right? My second term would have been 8, my first term would have been 3. So my fifth term would have been 23, and so on and so forth. So using this logic as we go forward, my 10th term is actually 48. So if my 10th term is 48, I have to go to the 50th term. So my 50th term is actually 248 because I have to add 200 to this number. So that's how I know I don't skip any numbers. As a result, A is my answer. So in reality, this is really a 1 minute problem as I need to figure out the sequence, and you don't skip any numbers. As a result, you know exactly where you're going. There you go. 54. One of the following graphs in the standard xy coordinate plane is a graph of y is equal to sine x squared plus cosine x squared, well, over this domain. Which one? In trigonometry, this is a special formula. So we'll need to know that sine squared plus cosine squared by definition is equal to 1 for all values of x. So as a result, y is equal to 1. So the only graph that gives me y is equal to 1 is h. So in reality, this was a 10-second problem. That's what I'm talking about. Number 55. What is the period of a function of f of x is the cosecant for x? In all trigonometric functions, we have our full cycle from 0 to 2 pi. That's one full cycle. This is equal to 1 period. So as a result, if I multiply 4 times as fast, I could actually fit in 4 periods now in here. So this is 4 periods, because if I stick a 1 in here, 4 times 1 is, so I get 4 periods in the same amount of time. I get 0 to 2 pi. If that's the case, then I have to take 2 pi and divide by 4. And when I do that, I get half pi is my full 1 period. The answer with full 1/2 pi is E. So in reality, this should take anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds. Like a boss. Number 56. Okay, let's go at the end. What is the expected value of x? Okay, so that didn't help that much. At the school carnival, Mike will play a game in which he will toss a penny, a nickel, and a dime at the same time. So he tosses 3 coins. He will be awarded 3 points for each coin that lands with heads facing up. Let the random variable x represent the total number of points awarded on any toss of the coins. What's the expected value of x? In reality, he could get all tails, gets nothing, and the best result, he gets all heads. He gets 9 points, right? So the most he could get is 3 on the first coin, 3 on the second coin, 3 on the third coin. So if you add them up, it gives me 9. But since each head and tail has 50%, which is 1/2, you need to take 9 divided by 2. So if you take 9 divided by 2, the answer is H. So in reality, this is a 30-second problem given there's a passage you need to read. Just like that. Number 57, for what positive real value of k, if any, is the determinant of matrix blah equal to k? The determinant of matrix that equals AD minus BC. So we know that all this is then equal to this, which is equal to k. So in this case, these values are my k, so this is k here, and this is k here, so I have k squared minus bc, which is equal to b is in this corner, which is 4, and this is 3, and this is equal to k. So in reality, this is k squared minus 12 is equal to k. Move k from this side to that side, so I have k squared minus k minus 12 is equal to 0. So I need to factor, so wherever adds up to minus 1, multiply gives me 12. The only node that I know is minus 4 and a 3. So x minus 4, x plus 3 is equal to 0. Since this will give me x equals to positive 4 and this gives me x of minus 3, I need a positive value, so I stick in a 4. So my answer is B. And boom. Number 58. Given a positive integer n such that I to the n is equal to 1, which of the following statements about n must be true? Note that I squared is equal to minus 1. Okay, so to make sure I don't make a mistake, so to make sure I get the right answer, I is equal to the square root of minus 1. And then my I squared is equal to minus 1, according to the definition here, right? So what's I to the third? I to the third is just this value times I, which is equal to minus I. So I to the 4 is this times I again, which in reality is just really 2 of these, which is equal to 1. So the only way that I could get a I to the n is 4 is multiples of 4. So when it divided by 4, the remainder has to be 0, because if I have any other remainder, I will get some value of all these other values here. So it must be equal to 0. Answer is F. In reality, this should probably take about a minute each. The reason is because there is a little bit of thinking that has to be done, and you gotta be careful when you manipulate i's. With one hand tied behind my back. Number 59. For minus pi over 2 is less than or equal to theta, which is less than or equal to pi over 2, the absolute value of sine x is greater than or equal to 1 is true for all and only the values of theta in which the following sets. First thing I would do is actually draw out sine of x. So cosine of x at 0 is 1, so that means sine has to be at 0. It does this, right? So we know that this is pi and this is 2 pi. So I'm looking between them. So I gotta go back to the other side. So it's here. So we know this is pi. Alright, so pi over 2 is here. Actually, this minus. And this is positive pi over 2. So this is positive pi over 2. And it's an absolute value. So it looks like this. So that is my absolute value of sine. So when it's equal to 1, there's only 2 values now it's equal to 1, which is at the corners. And at the corners, I have minus pi over 2 and pi over 2. So that means my answer is A. In reality, this should have taken about 1 minute as I need to draw a graph and understand the problem. Nice. Question number 60. And finally, I am at the end of the section. Ray, PK, ray bisects angle LPM. Okay, let's draw this down. So I have LPM and I have value K here. Okay, LPM is this value, which is 11x. And the measure of LPK, the smaller angle here, is 4x plus 18. What's the measure of KPM? Well, that has to be the same, right? Because they're bisecting. So this is also 4x plus 18. So what we need to do now is to double 4x plus 18, so 2 times 4x plus 18, and this is equal to 11x. Factors this out, so I have 8x plus 36 is equal to 11x. Subtract 8x from both sides, I have 36 is equal to 3x, x then is equal to 12. Then I have to take this and plug it back into the original formula. So 4 times 12 plus 18, and this is equal to 66. Answer is K. In reality, this should take about a minute, and that concludes the section. That was easy. Please see my other videos for other portions of the ACT practice test. Thank you. You got more questions? Put them below and I'll try to get through them.